Silver the Hedgehog. Poor guy's had it rough since his debut in one of the most infamous Sonic games ever. He came from a bad future destroyed by either fire monsters or some unknown disaster, easily tricked by obviously evil beings, kicked in the head by Shadow the Hedgehog, got ran over by his own ball of junk, and the fandom had numerous nicknames for the guy, including Podhead the Porcupine. Yeah, I'm guilty of calling him that.
No, look who it is! It's Silver the Hedgehog.
But Silver is a good and noble person who just wants a better future for him and everyone in his time. And he has powerful psychic powers to help. So why am I talking about Silver? Well, it's because today we are starting a new Sonic Universe arc featuring the Psychic Hedgehog from the future, the Silver Age. Ah, comic industry reference. Anyway, we're going to see Silver's future in the comics. Some of you are probably thinking, didn't we already see Silver's future in the comics? Yes, but it's the future in the old universe with characters and concepts that can no longer be used due to legal reasons. So what's Silver's time and life like without him having to go into the past to look for traitors? Well, let's find out. The issue begins with an establishing shot of Silver using his powers to close a Genesis portal before a monster emerges. The text box here indicates that this takes place before the events depicted in Free Comic Book Day 2015 and Sonic Universe 75. The real story begins in Onyx City, where a general announcement is made to the public. It pretty much boils down to this. The City Council, who looks like they based their face masks on the Dragon Balls, wants everyone to head to their assigned work shifts, and the civil protection robots will assist anyone who doesn't know where to go. And it's all for a better future. Silver's among the crowd and thinks the council's message is BS. But then, one of the robots announces that the Teal class workers must report to work immediately, and if they don't, they'll be punished. I should point out that Silver is among the Teal class. Why? Because the robots just apprehended someone wearing identical cuffs to the ones Silver wears. Plus, Silver has a worried expression on his face. Being a good-hearted individual, Silver used his powers to trip the robot, giving the worker a chance to escape. Silver gets away himself and heads for a secret hideaway where he can practice his psychokinesis in peace. However, someone's observing him. Professor Von Schlemmer, who's been monitoring Silver with his double downing dowsing rods, which he's using for the first time. Regardless, Von Schlemmer determines that Silver is exactly what he was looking for. Introductions are made, and Silver recognizes Von Schlemmer being from the Science Center. Apparently, Silver's heard stories about that place. But before we get to that, Von Schlemmer explains that Silver's powers are just the thing to counter the Genesis portals. Silver asks what are the Genesis portals, and right on cue, one appears right underneath them. The two fall into a purple void containing a bunch of black hands. As these hands start grabbing the two, Silver wants it to stop. Von Schlemmer says that the only way to stop it is for Silver to use his powers. With nothing left to lose, Silver activates his powers, dissolving the hands in the process. He grabs Von Schlemmer and escapes the portal. Then, for the first time chronologically, from Silver's point of view that is, he closes the Genesis portal. Though the process leaves him exhausted, Von Schlemmer's happy that Silver can close the portals. But he's also worried that due to the severity of the portals, reality's going to collapse. Oh, Von Schlemmer, you'd have a panic attack if you've seen the events of Worlds Unite Part 12. Anyway, Von Schlemmer wants Silver to go with him to the Science Center, and here's why Silver's leery about that place. Anyone who goes there that has powers like Silver never comes back. Von Schlemmer won't take no for an answer, so he just picks up Silver and heads for the Science Center. If you're wondering why Silver couldn't escape with his powers, well, he did tire himself out closing his first Genesis portal and probably needs a recharge. Maybe. Meanwhile, the Council's monitoring tests involving the portals. Okay. One of them, Council Member Number 5, points out one of the portals was closed. The other four disregard it as an error and leave. And we end this part with Council Member Number 5 staring at oh boy. Well, it's official. No matter what timeline or continuity, Silver's future sucks. But given the choice between a fire world or a dystopia, dystopia's the lesser evil. This version of the future is ruled by a council, who may or may not be villainous. We'll see. And it has everyone forced to work by classes. I see the cuffs that Silver usually wears not only on other people, but they can be actual cuffs if need be. These civil protection robots look like the love child of the SWAT bots from Sonic Sat AM and the egg gunners from Sonic 06. Some people might be troubled by the fact that Silver's practicing with his powers. I don't. You need to keep practicing to hone your skills and don't get sloppy, you know what I mean? Professor Von Schlemmer. He's quirky and absent-minded, but he's got good intentions, saving all of reality. The reason he's drafting Silver here? Desperation. Remember folks, this takes place before the events depicted in Free Comic Book Day 2015, and these two aren't exactly buddy-buddy yet. We're witnessing this process throughout this arc. Also, Silver's struggling with his first Genesis portal. Again, it makes sense because he's never done this before. Overall, I do like how this writer establishes this world and its characters. Let's talk about the writer a bit. The writer for this Silver arc is Evan Stanley, regular Sonic comic artist. Yep, she's pretty much following in the footsteps of Tracy Yardley and Aaliyah Baker. Now, Evan has written a story featuring Silver the Hedgehog, her own ongoing webcomic series, Ghosts of the Future, which you can find on her DeviantArt page. Personally, I've never read the story, but from what I've glanced, Silver's wearing actual clothing. I admit, it's a little weird, but in the end, it's her fanfiction. But here, she's in the big leagues and has to abide by mandates and rules. And like the Sonic Universe story arcs written by Tracy Yardley, this one's pretty much free of Ian Flynn's influence, save for advice on what Sega will or won't allow. Speaking of Tracy, he does the art for this arc, and it's great as always. I do want to point out how good he expresses the council members, especially number 5, via body language. It's pretty neat. This issue gets an 8.5, only for the fact that it's the introductory issue. There's so much setup and questions that need to be answered. What's the council's plan with the Genesis portals? And why do they have a Sonic Generations boss gate? Wait, let's take a look at the first page. That thing in the Genesis portal. You don't think? Nah, probably some other monster. Anyway, we'll see more of this future next month. Until then, have a good day and be safe. Silver being easily carried, at least it's better than Amy inappropriately touching him.